Hey! Hey! Onegaishimasu. So we are going to continue with our study of our posture and our shisei. But today we're also going to be exploring the use of our hips and our spine through squats, or jigotai a little bit, and bowing or hinging, okay, from your hips. Sometimes we use the word pray to kind of doesn't mean it's hinge or bow. It's just the etiquette at the beginning and the end of the class. But it reminds us this action of hinging from our hips. Okay, so actually we more or less produce a bit of a guide of how to do our bow properly when we sit. And it has to do a lot with the health of our knees, the health of our hamstrings, the health of our back and our hips. We need to be careful with a few elements when we bow. So first of all, careful to not raise the bum too much. So our hips, our bum must need to stay as close as possible to our heels. Depending again on how stiff we are on that particular day, that will be more or less easy. So our hips stay as low as possible. They may raise a little bit, but careful to not over raise them immediately too much. So that's point number one. Keeps as low as possible to our heels. Second one, your shoulders. If we guide with our arms too much, our shoulders lose the alignment with our hips. So your shoulders remain back and down, and you're moving forward. One way of doing that is by not jumping from our hands to the mat, but by simply allowing the hands to slide down to the mat. So don't jump into the mat, but allow the hands to slide down to the mat and try to maintain shoulder with hip alignment as opposed to the shoulders curving too much forward. And the last thing is our head not shooting down too quickly, because that loses our ear and shoulder alignment. So again, this is where different teachers and different groups do it slightly different. There is a recommendation of do not look down to the mat, but to keep an awareness of the person that's in front of you and the environment that's around you. That is from a martial perspective, but even from a structural perspective, is a reasonable idea, as long as it doesn't become exaggerated, as long as it doesn't become like an overly arching of the neck. But to not look down straight away. It's a good idea, and keep an eye, awareness of what is around us. So in that way, our head doesn't comes down. So our head stays up, our ears and our shoulders are aligned. If our shoulders remain back, our shoulders and our hip are aligned, and our hip has to be down, on the hips. Okay, so that is our action of hinging from the hips, and it's what we need to pay attention when we do our bowing in seiza. Okay, so let's go back again to our basic set of exercises for our spine. Remember, moving side to side, side to side. You're making really big, wide movements. Focusing on your spine, snaking on your body, from the base of your hips all the way to the top of your head. Spine, one side, side, make them smaller, until you get to the very top of your head and you find center, and then you imagine that your head is being pulled up by a string. Now this time we're going to collapse into our chest, hollow chest, and then we're going to expand our chest. Collapse into your chest and expand your chest. Collapse to your chest and expand your chest. Collapse chest and expand. Okay, collapse chest. Expand. collapse, chest, and expand. Good. This time same sensation, but this time using your neck and your shoulders. Expand your chest, collapse in your chest. Hopefully you can feel this movement again from the base of your hips all the way to the top of your head. So expand, collapse, expand, collapse, expand, collapse, expand, collapse, expand, and collapse. Good. So now this time, breathing in, breathing out, keep your chin out. Go all the way down until your head touches the ground. Now this is the important part. On the way up, start with your head down, your shoulders down, and your spine coming up vertebra by vertebra until your shoulders roll back and down and your head is up again. Okay, so careful to not lead with the head on the way up, on the way down, on the way up. Your head is the very last thing that kind of comes up. So your spine curves, 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 curves. Your shoulders roll down, and then your head goes up. Okay? So breathing in, breathing out, leading with your chin here, all the way down until your head touches the ground. And now raise your head. Start with your spine, vertebra by vertebra. Until your shoulders roll back and down, and your head is up. One more time, breathing in. Breathing out, head to the ground, spine up, shoulders back and down, head up. Couple more, breathing in, down, head to the ground, spine up, shoulders up and back, down, head up. And last one, breathing out, head down, spine coming up, shoulders up, back, and down, head up. And arches now, hands above your head, behind your head, open it to one side. And the other side, hands above your head, behind your head, pulling your shoulder blades back. Down, above your head, behind your head, pulling shoulder blades back. Time above your head, behind your head, pulling shoulder blades back. So, relax. Turn in one direction, turn the other direction. One direction, and the other direction. One direction, the other direction. One direction. So, okay. And back stretch. Coming forward. Once again, back stretch. And forward. Back. Forward. Use your toes, raise your hips. Hips down. Hips up. Hips down. Hips up. Hips down. Hips back. Forward again. Toes, hips up. Hips down. Hips up. Down. Up. Down. Up. This time walking backwards. It's down. It's up. Turning to one side. And the other side. Hands down. Breathing in. Breathing out. One more time, hands down. Breathing in. Breathing out. So, your head up and down. Head side to side. And ear to shoulders. So, circles one way, circles the other way. Hey, your arms going forward, your arms going back. Hey, showman. Hey, yoga man. Alright, once again for our back, we'll be doing a lot of exercises to strengthen our upper back, our lower back, etc. So hands in front, collapse, hands out, open. Hands in front, collapse, out, open. 2, 3, 4, 5. Use your shoulder blades, pulling those shoulder blades back. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Relax. Okay? Alright. So this time, your arms 90 degrees this way, and then putting them forward. Okay? We're going to do the same thing. We're going to pull back from our shoulder blades as much as possible. Your hands coming back to your body. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. Alright, your shoulders going forward, shoulders going back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. Tai Savaki. Tai Savaki. Remember to keep your hips down and your head up. Okay, use that posture, good posture that we'll be working on. And hand tie the other side. Hey, ryoho, both sides. Hey, Tenchi, heaven and earth. So one side, Tenchi, heaven, earth. The other side. Up, down, and up, down. Yoko, sideways. Side, and side. One side, the other side. One side, and the other side. Each side to side. Each side. And hands up, forward 90 degrees. Relax your arms. One more time, hands up, hands behind your ears, up, 90 degrees, and relax your arms. One more, hands up, hands behind your ears, 90 degrees, and relax your arms. Slow. So your knees at the back. And circles one way, circles the other way. So, hey, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Open your toes, down, up, down, down, up, and down. Keep your posture and breathing in, breathing out. Keep, go, pulling, breathing in, pull, breathe out. Please. Open your legs and side to side. Oh. Side, side, side. So, a little bit lower. The other side. And one side, toes up. And the other side, toes up. Again, one side, toes up. And put your knee down. Sit down that leg. And open up the other leg. And change the direction. Toes up. Knee down. Sit down that leg. Open the other leg. So, with your legs, elbows down, elbows down, and dynamic sun salutations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20, and rest. Oh, standing up, okay? So this time, we're going to work on our hip hinges, okay? We're going to pull your shoulders back, hands on your chest, proportionally, try to raise your back hand, your back leg, and bring your head down proportionally. What does that mean? That means that if we do a little bit of this, we don't do too much of that, okay? So try to be proportional in the execution of raising of your leg with moving of your hand down, okay? So hinges on one side, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and rest. Okay. So, all right. So it's very important to kind of have more or less a certain idea of how to do our hip hinge. So bend your knees. This time you're going to try to basically run your hands parallel, just completely touching your shins and your legs. Okay, touching your shins and your legs. Normally, if you do this in a gym, you will have a bar, you know, to do a hip hinge exercise or a deadlift exercise. okay? And the idea is that the bar will not separate from your body, okay? So that the bar with the weight will stay touching as close as possible, you know, to your shin, and from that position you will lift up. You will come down, and you will lift up. So very important to lower your knees a little bit, hinge on your hips, okay? Try to keep a good posture on your lower back, and coming up again. Bend your knees, hinge on your hips, good posture on your lower back, okay, as straight as possible, shoulders back, and lifting up again. Down, hinging on the back, and posture. Down, hinge on the back, posture. Down, hinge, shoulder, and posture. Okay, so that's the way our body starts to learn slowly how it is to hinge from your hip as opposed to simply collapsing from your lower back, as opposed to coming down, using your hinge and move. Next week we'll practice more with the jaw, a whole bunch of things that should help us to get that posture. But for the moment, let's do again these hinge movements. Okay, but now we're going to do hinge. We're going to raise to our knee. Okay, and then we're going to come down to our knee. So raise again and hinge. Okay, if you need support with a chair, you know, to do that, do this, it's fine. Otherwise, do it slowly. Careful with your support leg, especially. It needs to have a good alignment between ankle, knee, and hip in order to prevent any injury. If you need to kind of hold into something, please do so to keep yourself safe. Okay? So, right here, we're going to hinge on one side. We're going to raise our knee. We're going to shoot it back again into knees position. Raise it up again. And hinging again. And down. Okay, so how many moves are that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 movements. Okay, so 1, hinge, 2, raise, 3, down, 4, raise, 5, hinge, and down. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down. 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 Okay? That's one direction. Now this is the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down. 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 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, down. In this case, we try to keep our hands on our chest, with our shoulders back, to protect our posture as much as possible. So that one way is to do that. It compromises our balance a little bit. Okay. The other option is when we use our hands, okay, as part of the motion, and it helps us a little bit, you know, to keep our balance. So this time, try to see if we can coordinate your hand position with your body movement in general. Okay. So to keep your balance and the upper body assisting the lower body. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And down. Good. All right, sitting down, please. Sitting down. So we'll be doing a few ground-based exercises just to help us with our core muscle stability and also our locomotion, ground-based locomotion, which is always really important. Ground-based locomotion is essential in activities. That's why, for example, we have Shiko is still being a very good ground-based type of exercise if you have the health for it. So we'll be doing a few things, in that regard. So maybe let's just start with this one. It's a bit more of a strength form, but this is your basic alligator walk. So you move on one side, you move to the other side. One side, you move to the other side. Okay, so you want to think of these exercises to go as low as possible if you can do. But if not, do not worry too much about it. Just go as. Try to open your legs as much as you can. If you can push down, that's good. But try to open your legs as much as you can. So just start like in an alligator walk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and change. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bench. Alligator walk. Try to give yourself as low as possible, like an alligator. The kind of more children's-friendly version of this is kind of bear walk. The bear is really high. Your hip is really, really high. And you're just basically doing that. But sometimes we need to start with bear walk in order to understand basic four limbs locomotion, okay? Because alligator is a bit complicated. So even if you start with bear, it's really high. Bear is really high, but at least reminds us again of that what we use using legs and hands at the same time, which of course we lose very early, once we start working up after we are babies. So if you have a little bit of the bear walk reminder, then you can do basically an alligator walk, which is keeping your hips low, opening that leg a little bit more, keeping your hips low, opening that leg a little bit more. Okay? So try either bear walk or alligator walk, depending which one your body feels a little bit more comfortable with. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so sitting down. This time, this is again a stepping stone before we do the one that we do in the class. Cross your leg over your other leg. Now you have your classic omote and ura in front of your body, the back of your body. Open your hips and hand, pushing your chest out on the omote side. Okay, this stretch can happen on the omote side, or it can happen on the ura side. Now, when you do it standing like this, it's a good idea to do it both sides for your lower back and thoracic rotation. So omote and ura. Important in both cases, open up your chest. Okay, change to the side. Okay, and omote and ura. Change to the other side. As much as possible, try to bring this leg as in as possible. Careful that it's not too lazy, close to your foot. Try to bring it in as much as you can. Of course, we don't have some form of constraint. Try to bring it in as much as you can, and try to open your chest as much as you can. Okay, omote. And ura. Change again. Bring your leg in as much as you can. Open your chest, omote. And ura. Okay, so what happens now is you start from that position. Okay, you get your leg across, as close as you can. You open on the omote side only, and then you basically on that omote side you use that free hand to change position to the other side, and then you do omote on the other side. And then you use the free hand to change to the other side, shooting the leg and opening up omote. Use the hand, change, sit, and open, omote. Hands, change, to the side, not omote. And change, to the side. Yes, so that is a bit of a mixture between this exercise where we cross and open, follow with our basic crawling patterns. We should the leg and one hand to the leg. Okay, so do it slowly, your own time. Okay, but again, cross your leg as close as you can. Go to the front, to the motor side, not the ura side, the motor side, front of your body, not the back of your body, front of your body. Stay there for a couple of seconds, and then the free hand, shoot to the other side, and sit, and hold. Free hand, shoots, sits, and open. You can show your legs straight, these legs as close as possible. Okay, open, shoot, and open. To the side, change, shoot, open. And change, shoot, open. So, and relax. Okay, standing up. Relax. So those kind of exercises work your core muscles and your thoracic rotation quite a lot. So just be careful and gentle with those motions. Okay. All right. So during the week we have been doing a lot of Ushiro Ryo Katadori, mostly. Okay, which is good because Ushiro Ryo Katadori forces us to lower our hips while trying to keep at which you say. Okay, so we've been going our basic movement for Ushiro Ryo Katadori, where we have to exit my prana by lowering my hips, my body happening by the shoulders, but at the same time not by leading with my palm, which push my head down, but by leading with my hips, which keeps my head up. Irena had a really good exercise during the week that she made do a session, a group, which is really good. I think it was something like this. So you start forward, you step back, and lower your hips. Step back, lower your hips. Step back, lower your hips. Okay, so step back, give a drive. Step back, give a drive. Step back, lower hips. Step back, lower hips. Okay, so make your way backwards and making sure that you lower your hips as much as possible. If it's not too much, that's okay, but then you keep your head up in this case. So it's a squat, not a hinge. Okay, a hinge is come later. So for the moment, just a squat. Step back and lower your hips. Step back, lower hips. Step back, lower hips. Step back, lower hips. Step forward, lower, forward, lower, forward, lower, forward, lower. Okay? So, very important to have some feeling like that. So, for our Ushiro Ryo Katadori, okay, We'll be practicing our footwork, Ashisaraki, slide forward, slide back, slide forward, step forward. Okay, that's our basic structure for Bushido techniques, you know. We invite, attack, absorb by prana, remain connected, and move. Okay, so I invite, absorb, stay connected, move. Okay, invite, absorb, stay connected, move. Good side, invite, absorb, stay connected, move. Okay, inviting, absorbing, stay connected, move. Okay, that's the basic idea. So now we're going to do that plus the exit with the jigotai, which is what we've been doing in solo. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and exit jigotai, and your 2 fists up. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and the more you can do this, you know, the deeper you can go, the better. We are exaggerating at the moment, but it's important to exaggerate in solo practice, because in Sota Idosa, when you practice with your partner, then you will need to adjust according to their capacities. So at the moment, be as disciplined as possible with yourself. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Okay. So now of course, from that position, then things like Ikkyo comes, or Nikkyo or things like that. We did play for a little bit with doing Ikkyo. Okay, when you are here, your partner's elbow is going to be about here. So we were playing a little bit with connecting with my partner's elbow and then moving my partner's elbow with my head, but not with my neck. With my head, because my head is connected to my spine and my spine is connected to my hips. So we were playing with moving the partner's elbow with my head, but focusing on the movement of my hips and my spine until my head touches the ground. Okay, so if you can play with that a little bit, visualize that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and step back, jigotai. Your partner is here, boom. Connect with your partner's elbow. Move from your hip, move your spine, don't move your neck. Okay, move your hip, move your spine, and put that head down on the ground. Controlling your partner's elbow with your head. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Connect your partner's elbow with your head, move your hips, move your spine, don't move your neck. Hip, spine, hands down, putting the head down on the floor. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Connect your head, hip, spine, hip and spine, hip and spine. We're going to be doing Funekogi in a minute. Okay. Hip and spine, putting it down, put it down, onto the floor. Okay. One more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and down. Give it up. Connect, head, hip and spine, hip and spine, hip and spine, hip and spine, and head on the floor. So, okay. So once again, it's very important that we know the difference between squatting and hinging. Okay, and leaning. Okay, leaning is when we are trying to hinge, but our alignment is broken somewhere. Okay, and leaning is not great, because sometimes leaning is related to lack of balance, which is because there is a lack of structure, lack of alignment. Okay, so hinging while maintaining good alignment is not only good, it's fundamental. That's what I says to do technique, because you have to move your spine. Sometimes we tend to be very vertical, and then forget that we have a hip that can hinge. Everything is very vertical. Okay, so we can hinge. The downside of hinging is that if we break our alignment, we lean. And when we lean, things can get a little bit complicated, because it's when we are potentially out of balance because of lack of structure. Okay, so one of our favorite exercises for hinging, of course, is funakogi. Again, the way Mano Sensei does it. Sometimes funakogi is done more vertical, you know, in some schools, but they're not focusing on using hinging motions. In this case, with Sensei, it's all action of a hinging motion. Okay, so funakogi. Okay, hands in front, and yi ho, yi ho, yi ha, yi ha. And remember, on the last part of the exercise, when you settle in, Gishin, stop shaking your hands, roll your shoulders back and down, keep your head up, lower your hips. And establish as good posture as you can with your body. So, technically, that posture should remain for the rest of the session, but it's difficult to maintain it for too long. Okay, so hands in front, the other side. Hey, yes, 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 yes. And shoulders back and down, head up, hips down. Hey, sitting down, please. So, posture, alignment, which is related to your posture, being centered, being balanced, all of those things are things that are very tricky, because sometimes what we pursue is perfection of those things, of never losing them, right? And sometimes the price we pay is that we stop we stop producing motions that are necessary in our training, in our life, because of the fear of losing balance, alignment, centeredness, etc. It's more important to be able to recover quickly rather than to not lose it. Right? Because we will lose it. We will lose balance, we will lose centeredness, we will lose posture, we will lose those things. Right? So if we get too fixated or never losing them, we will lose. We will lose that game. Because we will lose them one way or another. Right? So the point is knowing your way in and your way out, how to potentially lose it and how to recover it, how to recover your balance, how to recover your centeredness, how to recover your alignment, how to recover your posture. But be willing in the commitment of a certain movement you sometimes lose that, okay? So don't get too fixated with never losing your posture, because you will lose it, okay? By yourself or by the actions of others. The problem is if you don't, the more you lose it and the more you have good training and good intention of recovering it, the quicker your recovery process will be. But if you are perpetually fixated with never losing it, therefore you are not practicing to recover it, never, when you lose it, and you will, the way back will be a much more difficult situation, okay? So, yes, give everything in your techniques, practice carefully, but give everything. And when we say we give everything, we give everything, which means we can lose these precious things, like posture and alignment and centeredness and things like that. It's another conversation if those things are good in themselves. That's not only this, or they are functional for some reason. But anyway, but the important thing is, don't be afraid of losing those things. Just be concerned on how to recover them as soon as possible. Okay? So that goes for all of those things, but especially this one for posture. Great! Hey! Arigato, gozaimashita. Thank you very much.